What's up, YouTube? This is Mr. Reef here with episode 2 of Roger's Q&A. This episode's question comes from Ivan G. Is his YouTube channel. His link to his channel will be down in the description below, so make sure you go check his channel out. His question is, what are your thoughts on shallow reefs? I know they're becoming more popular. I've had mine for about 6 months now, and I realized that they are completely different than any other regular tank. I completely agree with this. Shallow tanks have a completely different challenge to them, and it's a really unique challenge. As you can see, the tank you're staring at is not a deep tank, so I don't run into a few of these problems, but I can kind of put my thoughts out there. I think shallow tanks run into a problem in 3 ways. First is lighting. You can really overkill lighting since there's not a lot of water kind of spreading it out and decreasing the par, so you can really burn stuff. So you got to be careful on lighting height, lighting distribution, diffusion, all that kind of stuff with lighting. The second is flow. In my 12 or 10-inch deep frag tank down below, I have 2 big Corellias on either corner, and it disturbs the water so much that it really creates a lot of turbulent movement. If you're okay with that top turbulent movement, it's okay. I know some of the really shallow tanks, like the ADA 60 whatever tank, is like 6 or 7 inches deep, and you can't put a Vortec in it without it sucking in water. I know some companies are making shields for it. I think Pico Aquariums makes a shield for it, so it prevents from sucking in air at the top or sand at the bottom. And that brings me into the third condition. Most shallow tanks are hard to run with a sand bed. They're not impossible, due to the big flow creation, and there's so little water volume to kind of buffer the sand. It's not buffer, but keep the sand down, and I don't know what I'm trying to say. It'll blow the sand around because there's not much room in between the pump and the sand, so if that makes sense. But in general, shallow tanks are awesome. I love them because they're really easy to work in. The one thing I do like about shallow tanks is if they're shallow, long, and wide, it creates a whole different dimension of the tank, because you can really get the 3D kind of depth of field that you can't get with these taller, narrower tanks. Like, this one's not too narrow, but it's very proportional, and shallow tanks are really cool because you can really stretch the boundaries on aquascaping and all that kind of stuff. Also, it kind of disproves the Tang rule. I know I'm not the best example because I have a tank in this 65-gallon tank, but I saw a tank on, I think it was Nano Reef. It was 7 feet by 2 feet by 1 feet tall. I think it was something like that, or 7 feet by 18 inches or something like that. It was a really long tank, but it was shallow and it was kind of wide, so created a footprint of almost a 200-gallon tank. So you can really stretch the boundaries with aquascaping, stocking. You can almost trick people into thinking the tank is really big, when in fact it may be about half the size that it really looks. So overall, I think shallow tanks are awesome. I really want my next tank to be shallow, or proportionally shallow. Like if I had this tank and then it doubled, so I had, 72 inches by 20 inches by 20 inches, or by 20 by 20. That would be a freaking awesome tank, I gotta admit. But yeah, if you guys have any opinions on this topic, make sure you leave them down in the comment section below. I always love hearing about tank builds, especially when they're shallow builds, because they turn out amazing. If you guys want to see some cool shallow builds, Nano Reef is full of them, because it's really easy to make a nano tank shallow because everything's nano. So just go to Nano Reef, check out some of the shallow tanks. Some of them are stunning. I know AJ TSIN's is really good. Rehype had a really good one. Well, so there's a couple really good ADFs. I can't pronounce his name, but there's not ADFs, ADA 60Fs. So yeah, just go to Nano Reef. The shallow tanks are awesome there. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns on shallow tanks, make sure you leave them down in the comment section below. Also, make sure you go check out Ivan G's channel. It'll be linked right here and down in the description below. Thank you, Ivan, for episode number 2. And keep in touch, everyone else, keep an eye out for the next episode. Episode 3 will be. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks for the support on the series, and I will see you in the next episode.